everyone, I'm Brandy Williams, and welcome to Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. Tonight we have some of the biggest poker players in the world, and they are going to be duking it out for some cold hard cash. Get ready, because this is Cash Poker, and it all starts right now.
Welcome to Cash Poker here at Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel. I'm Brian Malika. I will be your host. Last week, Cash Poker regular Adam Richardson was on fire. During back-to-back all-in hands, we saw him catch a miracle river card, flop trip jacks, bust out 2 players, and collect over $200,000. Tonight, he's going to be going up against a table full of players who are all capable of taking that back from him. So why don't we meet them? In seat number 9 from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Nenad Medic. In seat number 8 from Las Vegas, Nevada, Bob Bright. Michael Tate from Plantation, Florida is in seat number 7. From Los Angeles in seat number 6, Brooklyn Dan. In seat number 5 from right here in Las Vegas, Joe Awada. In seat number 4, Adam Richardson from San Diego, California. In seat number 3, another Las Vegas local, Wayne Boych. In seat number 2, Antonio Solario from Coral Springs, Florida. And in seat number 1 from Elkins Park, Pennsylvania, Avi Friedman. The table is set, so let's shuffle up and deal.
Kings of 10. They flop 2 pair.
Oh, yeah?
Blinds are set at $75,150 with a $25 ante. As Michael will get things started, 10-6 offsuit, he will fold. Queen 4 of diamonds for Bob Bright. And Bob limps in. 6-8 offsuit for Avi. We've really seen him lower his standards as far as starting hands. He was incredibly tight when he first sat down. Now he's willing to gamble a little bit. Action folds around to the button. Adam, King, Jack suited. He calls.
Let me just get the 10 ready, Joe.
10-3 for Joe in the small blind, and 10-3 for Danny in the big blind.
Well, yeah, well now.
You play that slow.
5-handed going into the flop, and Adam pairs his king.
Check. Check. And check.
Adam's probably a little bit nervous about that ace. And with that ace of diamonds on the turn, Bob has picked up a flush draw. Now, we have seen Bob bet out with nothing but a draw before. Let's see if he puts out a little semi-bluff here.
I'm sorry, check.
Check.
No, elects to check.
Check.
Checks round to Adam.
500.
He's holding the kings. He has the best hand so far, and he is going to bet out 500. A little feeler bet.
500.
500.
Out. Oot.
2 players.
No diamond for Bob on the river. Adam has the best hand.
I got to bet first?
Mm-hmm.
Bob did pair his 4 on the river.
I'll do the 500.
He may think that pair of 4s is the best hand. He bets out 500, not really sure if he's value betting there or just taking a stab, but there it is. He finds out he is behind. Adam will win the pot with his kings.
Just didn't want you betting. You bet more.
Nenad is under the gun. He has elected to live straddle, so Avi will be first to act. It'll be 300 to call. This is something we see time and time again here on Cash Poker. A lot of players love that live straddle. Kind of forces the action a little bit. As it folds around to Joe. Joe picked up 10 jack offsuit. He made the call. Danny folds from the button. 4 deuce for Michael in the small blind. He lets it go. Bob in the big blind, 9-7 of spades.
12 routine.
And he will bump it up to 1,200. Nanad, who has 4-5 offsuit, he was already in on the live straddle. He's going to make the call. Bit of a loose call from Nanad. And Joe immediately throws in his money as well. 3-handed going into the flop, and what a flop for Nanad. Trip 5s, and Joe might be in a little bit of trouble here as well as he flopped top pair with his jacks.
3,000.
3,000.
Bets out 3,000.
All at once, huh? 3,000.
Bob, who made that initial raise, hit absolutely no part of that flop. He lets it go. Let's see if Nanad slow plays here. Well, Nanad is reaching for cash. He is going to come over the top, 9,000.
6,000.
This almost might look to Joe like Nanad's trying to steal this pot. There is not much on that board. Joe has to feel somewhat confident about his hand. From Joe's perspective, if Nanad did have a 5, he probably would have slow played here.
You have a telephone call.
Guess my wife's trying to save me from this. I'll listen to her call. Take the money.
If he wasn't sensing something from Nanad, apparently his wife was, and he got away.
Oh, well.
You're watching Cash Poker. Stick around.
Avi has put out a $300 live straddle, so the action will be on Antonio. He will fold, as does Wayne. King deuce offsuit for Adam.
I call.
He lets it go. Joe still on the phone there, thanking his wife for getting him out of that last jam. Takes the time to make the call. Action folds to Michael. He's on the button. Pocket 8s. Let's see if he makes a position raise. And no, just calls the 300. That gives Bob the opportunity to raise. He's in the small blind. Queen 10 offsuit. He will make the call.
What the hell?
Nanad 5-9 of spades. He calls.
300 here.
Yeah, I call.
Avi will check his option with ace 6 offsuit, and we are 5-handed going into the flop. Nanad takes the lead in the hand. He flopped middle pair. He will check it.
Check. Check it. Check it.
Action checks around. No one's hand improves with that king.
Check. Check it.
As the action checks around, Michael holding those pocket 8s. And I'm glad he's taking a shot at this. Whoever plays this most aggressively will probably win this pot.
Tell him the truth.
Bob, who's on a gut shot straight draw, needs the jack. We've seen Bob play draws before.
I gotta make sure I'm seeing the right thing here. Is that what, 2 kings or what?
Kings, 9 and 6.
No, but not this time. He's going to let it go. Nanad, who has the best hand at this point, he folds. Avi still holding bottom pair with that ace kicker, will call. There's nothing much there for Joe. The only reason he would play is if he wanted to make a steal. He would come over the top with an aggressive raise.
Joe, you know you have a hand, right?
Oh, sorry about that. Jeez. Oh, let me know.
I didn't know what you were doing.
No.
I'm gonna call a friend.
Heads up with one card to come. It is the Jack of clubs.
He's got kings and eights,
And Michael's pocket eights will take it down. That was a great bet by Michael on the turn. He chased away Bob, who would have hit his straight, and Anand, who had the best hand at the time with his nines, and he will drag the pot. Wayne is under the gun. And he will fold the 5-6 offsuit.
Yeah, he's with brothers with me.
King 8 offsuit for Joe. He makes the call.
They want you as soon as.
Raise.
Raise it. Making it 600.
And pocket jacks for Michael. Now we saw Michael in position with pocket eights on the last hand. He elected to just call. Let's see if he makes it a re-raise. And that's exactly what he does. 1,300 to go now. I'll be interested to see how Danny plays this. Ace-Queen is a strong hand, but it is vulnerable. He has to figure Michael at least has a pocket pair, which would put him slightly behind. He would hope to have 2 overcards. Worst case scenario, Michael could be holding something like Ace-King, and he'd be completely dominated. Danny makes the right laydown. And that's 2 in a row for Michael. Action will fall on Brooklyn Dan as Joe puts out a $300 live straddle. He will fold to Michael, who picks up Ace-Jack. Now, I would love to see Michael come out aggressive here. He's known as a conservative player, but he's on a bit of a rush. You know, he's won 2 pots in a row. I say, why not? Bet into it. Let's see what happens.
Raise it, make it 900.
And he does. It's going to be 900 to go. Oh, but Bob has pocket 10s. And unlike Michael, Bob is an aggressive player. I would expect a re-raise here.
It was a live straddle, right? Great.
And he does come over the top, 3,000 now. And now Michael finds himself in the same position Danny was in on the last hand. He has Ace-Jack, but much like Ace-Queen, it's a very vulnerable hand, especially when someone is re-raising into you.
I guess I should stay and play my Annies, right? That would be fair. Is that how you guys normally do it?
So let's see what Michael decides. We saw Danny let it go, but that was after a raise from Michael, who's known as a tight player. Bob, who's an aggressive player, has been known to raise with just about anything.
If you're going to leave, I'd like a seat change, if that's permissible.
Michael may decide to play back at him.
As soon as I play my button, you can have it.
I'm gonna let you have it, Bob.
And in the end, he lays it down.
Now, if I show you, I got to show the rest
No,
of
it's
the
all
table.
right. You don't have to show me. Nice hand.
And Bob, always the gentleman, decides to show him the hand to say, see, you made the right decision.
If I have option, I'll make it 600.
Anybody object? No objections? All right, 600.
Action continues here at our featured table, and our players have decided to up the ante. We have a double straddle. Avi made it 300, Antonio came over the top, made it 600, and no one has any cards yet.
We know what it is. Go ahead.
Joe has left the table, so Bob slid over into the number 5 seat. Lee Markholt sits down in the number 8 seat where Bob was, and Brooklyn Dan decided to take a break as well. Phil Galfond sits in for him in the number 6 seat.
Anything to encourage action.
Action folds around to Nanad. He's in the big blind, and he is holding pocket aces. It's already 600 to go.
23.
Pass.
22, 23.
Nice little setup you did there. Since I'm in it, minute to win it. You got me here. Let's go.
Jack 10 for Antonio. He's going to make the call. Heads up going into the flop. And Antonio hits his top pair. He's still well behind Nanad, however. We have seen pocket aces get cracked quite a few times here on Cash Poker. I'll be interested to see if they can hold up for Nanad as he bets out 3,700.
3,700?
And Antonio will make the call.
No, I'm done.
A third jack for Antonio on the turn. And Nanad looks a little bit nervous. He's going to slow things down and check. And this time it's Antonio who fires 6,500 into the pot. So now Nanad has a decision to make. Does he put Antonio on the jack or on a bluff trying to represent the jack? Well, he's going to make the call. Only one of the two remaining aces in the deck will bail out Nanad. And he doesn't get it. In fact, it gets worse. That 10 gives Antonio the full house. Nanad checks it. I expect a value bet from Antonio. Over $25,000 in the pot. And he will push out an additional $10,000. Nanad has already put so much money into this pot.
85?
No.
I think he realizes that he's behind.
This is so
He does
sick.
have top two pair. This is really hard to lay down.
This is so sick. How perfect this almost worked out.
And he cannot lay it down.
Jack's full of tens.
And Nanad shows the aces just to show the table he wasn't making a loose call.
He made me do it.
Yep.
He forced me to bet.
That's him.
And a $45,000 pot being pushed to Antonio.
First time I got a big pair. Worked out.
Big pair with a double straddle out there.
Yeah.
Looked like a setup to me.
Don't you just hate it when there's not enough room at the table for your giant bricks of money?
I used to do what you used to do, but that was a lot of years ago.
Action is on Wayne. It is 300 to call as Antonio has decided to live straddle. Just one live straddle this time. Makes the call with ace-10 suited and ace-king for Adam.
No, if you call out of the gun, it's two aces for sure.
That's an aggressive call.
Adam will come over the top, make it 1,700 to go. We talked about Adam in the top of the show, really had a great week last week, pulling in over $200,000. Has been pretty quiet today. I guess he's just been waiting for a hand to start throwing those chips around, and ace-king would qualify.
Let's see if I have to defend.
Action folds back around to Wayne.
17?
Yes.
Just gonna smooth call with the aces. Good.
It heads up.
Good.
Ship it.
No help for either player on the flop.
I have to bet because I'm stuck in props.
You check one?
Stuck in, I checked it. Stuck in props.
2,500.
Stuck 1,000 already. Could get worse if we see a turn card.
And Wayne has no choice but to fold. That's a well-played hand by Adam.
That's right, extra incentive to be aggressive.
Continuation betting 101.
Right when the props start, huh?
Things are getting hot in here, so stay with us because we have more Cash Poker coming up.
Closed captioning provided by.
If you're just joining us, you are watching Cash Poker. I'm Brian Malika. Blinds are 75, 150 with a $25 ante.
Oh, you had it.
As Wayne is first to act, Queen 8 offsuit, he will fold. Action folds around to Nanad, he's on the button. Bumps it up to 550 with a Queen 9 offsuit. He's in position, nobody limping in. Maybe thinking he can steal the blinds right now. But both blinds will make the call with marginal, if not weak hands, and we're three-handed going into the flop. And what a dream flop for Antonio. He has 5-7 suited, he flops a straight. Oh, and he bets out. I'm really surprised by that bet. If he checks, he gives Nanad the opportunity to make a continuation bet. There was nothing on that board that could scare him. He hit the only draw on the board. He bets it out. He's going to win the pot, but he could have won a lot more. I'm still a little bit surprised by Antonio's play on that last hand. It's not every day that you flop a straight. The whole reason that you play a hand like 5-7 is because you're hoping to hit a monster flop. If you're not going to maximize your profits when it happens, then you might as well fold. As the action folds around to Nanad, he picked up pocket sevens. He will bump it up to 550. Ace Jack for Antonio in the small blind. He will call. Wayne in the big blind picked up Jack 10 of spades. He will call, and we're three-handed.
I'm loosening up. Huh?
I need more than two hands to convince me of that.
Okay. Whatever you say.
And this time, it's Nanad who's the recipient of a dream flop, a full house. Nanad is trying to make this look like a continuation bet. He's hoping that an aggressive player like Antonio might fire back at him, but he'll get no such luck. Both players fold, and Nanad's going to take down the pot.
Yeah. Wow.
He would have liked to pull down a much bigger pot after flopping a full house, but at least he got some of his money back from Antonio as he continues to rebuild his stack. I like the way Nanad's playing tonight. He's been very consistent. Whether he hits a flop or not, he comes out firing, and it's really hard to put a player on a hand when you play that way.
If you show 7 deuce and win?
You don't have to show down, right?
Huh?
You don't have to show down, right?
You don't have to win. Just as long as you win the pot, you show. Yeah, that's good too.
500?
Nah.
Huh?
You know what? We shouldn't do it since we're playing props.
Who cares?
It's confusing.
Oh, it's not? What are you talking about? It's got nothing to do with props.
Have you seen those billboards with the 2 letters on it?
Nobody's talking to you. Anybody object?
I'm sure many of the viewers can relate to the way some of these hands have played out tonight. First, Nanad gets his aces cracked and loses a huge pot. Then we see back-to-back monster flops, a straight and a full house, and neither player gets paid off.
Yeah. Unsuited pays double.
No.
Oh, shit.
Bob's on the big blind, Jack 4. He will check, and we're four-handed. And that flop misses everybody.
Check. I'll take a deuce on the turn.
Lee, tell these guys I'm on Social Security, man. Tell them, just take it easy.
Action checks around. That 9 does pair Adam and Avi. With the ace and the queen on the board, they might be a little bit nervous. Someone's going to have to bet if they want to take this pot down.
Me?
Not in that
I'm sorry.
where you make me re-strap.
I didn't see my man. He's talking about the 7 deuce and the 7 deuce and 500, 1,500, 1,000, whatever it is.
Ace on the river.
It's getting complicated, Wayne.
It's getting complicated.
Avi has the best hand with his king 9. Adam's going to put out a small bet. It's 300.
In that deck.
300?
Oh, is that what you want?
Avi's going to look him up.
2 pair.
Action's here.
I apologize.
Oh, well. I'm out.
8 or 9. That would have been sweet.
Chop it up. I got a king.
With a king.
That would have been. Should have done it.
Wait till it's a viewer.
We have more play coming your way, so stay with us. Cash Poker will return.
Michael is under the gun.
Keep on picking up aces.
King 9 offsuit. He will fold. Suited connectors for Lee. 5-6 of hearts. He will call.
Actually, I think they made it for Brad Booth, but
Who?
All-in specialist.
yep.
Jack 3 of spades for Antonio.
Call.
Adam on the button. King 5 offsuit. He will call. Ace 10 for Bob. He's in the small blind. There's been 6 players to limp before him. He might consider raising to try and thin the field a little bit.
I raise.
Raise. No. No? No. It's not saying. Reckless. Reckless good player.
1,500 more.
He fires out a substantial raise, makes it 1650 to go. And this is a little bit more consistent with the way we've seen Bob play here on Cash Poker in the past. Up until now, he's been relatively quiet.
You might be raising with 7 deuce, you know? Got to call him down.
That's true. And a very loose call by Avi with Queen 8 offsuit. I mentioned earlier how he shifted his game from very tight to a little bit more aggressive, but this almost seems like it's too far. 3 players going into the flop, and Avi hits top pair. With this kind of board, I would expect a continuation bet from Bob.
I don't like that. Watch it.
But he doesn't. He checks it. Lee has a gut shot straight draw. And he comes out firing 3,700 on a semi-bluff. Avi has the best hand. It's not a very scary board. He wouldn't be crazy to think that he has the best hand at this point. I would even like to see him fire back, come over the top, maybe chase away any possible draws. No, but after some deliberation, he lays it down.
I got to have both the 7 and the deuce, huh? Can't just have 2 deuces.
And Bob's gonna fold. I think Bob really missed a chance to take this pot down. He made the big raise pre-flop. If he had made a continuation bet from first position, he would have chased away Lee and Avi.
Thought Lee had it. Should be the best episode
so far. Wayne will be first to act. It's 300 to go after Antonio puts out a live straddle. King Queen offsuit for Adam. Makes the call. Phil picked up Queen 9 of hearts. He will limp in. Lee folds from the button to nod. Queen 3 offsuit will call, as does Avi in the big blind with 7-4 of clubs. It's Antonio's option after the live straddle, and he has pocket 10s. He will raise it up to 3,000.
3,000 more.
I take this back. String call.
This is a good raise by Antonio. It's 10 times the original bet, and I think he's trying to take this down right now. 5 players have limped in. He doesn't want any action. He's going to get some from Phil.
Well, I guess the 7 deuce thing isn't going to work out for me.
Trying to save all you guys $500.
Everyone else folds. We're heads up. Antonio's 10s are still good, but with an ace and a jack on the board, Phil called a very large pre-flop raise. That has to worry Antonio. And now he's got to be even more worried as Phil fires out 4,000.
4,000?
4,000.
Well, Antonio has the best hand, but I don't think he can call here.
Fortunately, the 7 deuce are spades.
Even though he has the best hand, that's a good fold by Antonio. With 2 overcards to his pocket pair, more often than not, he's going to be behind in this situation.
Almost.
Action continues at our featured table.
I don't mind losing the big pot if I couldn't get away
And then
from
we
it.
both freeze when the spade peels.
Yeah.
Probably.
Since you read me so well. Although if a blank falls, then you get all my money anyway. If it's not a spade on the turn.
Yeah, yeah.
Action folds around to Bob. 6-8 of spades. Bob's going to make the call. Michael looks down at pocket 6s.
We're just putting in 150 this pot?
He will call as well.
So far, that's good.
Lee limps in with Jack 9, as does Nanad from the button with 10 deuce of diamonds. Avi calls the small blind. Antonio will check. 6-handed going into the flop. And another monster flop for Antonio.
That's costing me some money.
2 pair, 7s and 4s. And once again, he bets out.
3,500.
I'm not sure if he's concerned because there's 5 other players in this pot, but that bet is 3 times the size of the pot. And we've seen a very tight table tonight, so it's very unlikely that anybody's going to play back at him. He's really not maximizing the value of these strong hands. Once again, everybody folds, and Antonio drags in a small pot after another missed opportunity. Action will be on Michael, and it's 600 to go after a double straddle from Bob and Phil. Ace queen off suit. Michael's out of position here, but looks like he's going to come out with a raise. And he does. Going to be 1,700 total.
It's been raised.
It's been raised.
Action folds around to Avi, who has pocket jacks. He's already facing 2 straddles and a re-raise. He'll be content to call. Antonio on the button. King Jack. He will call as well.
Seven deuce, one time.
So what are you going to do with a 7 deuce with 3 callers?
It's not a 7 deuce, but Adam's still not going to play it.
He's going to fire all his bullets?
Oh, yeah, there's going to be...
And someone will be dead.
I have 7 deuce.
Do we have the ante?
It's only worth 4,000. How could you risk 100?
Bob and Phil will fold their straddles, and we're 3-handed. Antonio hits top pair with his kings. Michael will be given a chance to make a continuation bet. He does not. Avi a little bit nervous with all the action pre-flop. He checks his jacks. And Antonio comes out firing 3,000. Michael's going to get away from his hand. Avi calls. I think this is a one-time call from Avi. He probably believes that he's behind. If Antonio bets the turn or the river, he's more than likely going to fold. And no jack on the river.
There we go.
This is a profitable hand.
Both players check again. Antonio shows the king. And he will take down a $12,000 pot.
Well, that's not right.
1,500.
Yeah, but you
nice
back
one.
two of it. You only own one chip.
There's more No Limit Cash Poker coming up, so stay with us.
Phil will be first to act. It's 150 to call.
Pretty much.
And we seem to be getting the most action at this table when players straddle, or in some cases even double straddle. For example, on that last hand, there was already $1,000 in the pot before the cards were even dealt. That provides a lot more incentive for the players to get involved.
Is he?
He's on the edge of prop tilt.
Action folds around to Nanad, who has 9-10 offsuit. He will bump it up to 550. Again, very consistent to the way he's been playing all night. Avi makes the call with ace-4 offsuit. Suited connectors for Antonio. The action folds around and we're three-handed.
Three amigos.
Avi pairs his ace on the flop, and with an ace and a queen on the board, Nanad elects not to make a continuation bet. That jack may change things for Nanad as he turns an open-ended straight draw. It looks like he's going to take a shot at it. This isn't a bad idea. Even if somebody calls him with a better hand, he still has the chance to outdraw them on the river. And Avi will just call. A bit of a reluctant call with his weak kicker.
At least I made money so far.
Will be heads up going into the river. And Nanad misses his straight.
Ace.
Pairs his 9, but that's not going to do anything with Avi's aces. Both players check.
It'll cost you 500 more for that hand, sir.
And Avi's going to take it down. Adam is on the button. Bob and Phil are the blinds. Michael has put out a live straddle, so the action is on Lee. 300 to go. And Nanad is going to raise it up 1,100. Action folds to Adam on the button. Pocket deuces.
Yeah.
Come on, 3 deuces for the finale. First time ever.
And Antonio has made a side bet that deuces will hit on the board. He will not get any argument from Adam. Yeah, no deuces on the flop. As both players check. Another blank on the turn. Now, we don't know what Nanad has. He hasn't shown the camera, but he's going to take a shot. $1,800. Adam holding the pocket deuces. He can only beat a bluff. And he lays it down. And a little bit of mystery as Nanad pulls down the final pot on tonight's episode of Cash Poker. My Cash Poker Hold'em highlight started when Antonio called Nanad's pre-flop raise with 5-7 suited. His dream comes true when he flops a straight, but rather than checking and giving Nanad the opportunity to make a continuation bet, he bets out, causing Nanad and Avi to fold. He pulls in an $1,800 pot, but it could have been much, much more if he just slowed down.
The UPC Hold'em Highlight is brought to you by All In Magazine, the world's leading poker magazine.
Once again, Binions was the host to another action-packed night. Be sure to tune in next week for more Cash Poker. I'm Brian Malika. For all the Cash Poker crew, thanks for watching. Good night.
What another great night of hot poker action. Thanks for joining us here at Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel, and I'll see you next time here on Cash Poker. I'm Brandy Williams. Good night.